The City of Atlantic, Iowa Council meeting to order this 21st day of June, 2023. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Everyone please rise. Gentlemen, remove your caps. And we will now say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, Mayor.
Item number 3, adopt consent agenda items. Minutes of the June 7, 2023 City Council meeting. Special Class C 5-day retail alcohol license, Atlantic Youth Sports Organization, Inc. Item C, cigarette permit Fairway, and bills totaling $112,960.58. Do I have a motion and a second?
I move we adopt the consent agenda.
Second.
Discussion, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Barb, did anyone sign up, or is there anyone in the chamber that would like to speak at the public forum? Okay, thank you. Item number 5, order to close 6th Street between Chestnut and Poplar on September 9, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. for the Nishna Valley YMCA's Community Appreciation Event. Motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Thank you. Am I getting a little feedback on that, Nick? Can everyone hear us? Thank you.
Yes.
Item number 6, presentation on industrial development progress by Jennifer McIntaffer, Executive Director of Cass Atlantic Development Corp., as known as CADCO. Would you like to come to the podium, Jen? Thanks.
I talk quiet. Can everybody hear?
I can.
Okay. Okay, well, I guess I'll start with housing. We're working with Vision Atlantic on a potential housing project. This is the only time I'll bring up the county, but it's an exciting project for us because CADCO partnered with Anita Development, and the house is complete and will be listed with a realtor. So that's pretty exciting. We're looking towards applying for a Thriving Iowa Community Tax Credit Program for the fiscal year of 2024. We've been working with Marty Boos on his development. He has since listed his property with a realtor as well, which I think is a good choice, yep. We completed a housing website for the City of Atlantic, and I asked Barb to show it to you after. It's a simple website, but I think it gives the information that is needed, and that's AtlanticIowaHousing.com. And once CADCO's website is updated, we will be linking that to ours. We'll be linking it to the City of Atlantic, and so it'll have more visibility once that happens. And CADCO's in charge of keeping that up. Childcare, we met with the school board to discuss the infant room at the child care center. We did that twice. We're also looking now into other options with Dan Haynes and Shirley Ulrich. She works for CCR&R, and so we are working with her. We also, as CADCO, we continue to offer the $1,000 grant for home startups. That's been utilized twice, and it's a great program for those that are certified through the state. Our RBEG loan fund, we made one loan in the amount of $50,000. We could have made 3 had we had the funds available. So we're currently still working on just finalizing the details. And we do have approximately $4,000 that comes back every month to us. So that does add up pretty quickly. And 3 to 4 jobs were created with that loan. We're currently managing our 21 other loans. This was
How many
another.
of them are in Atlantic of the 21?
All but 4
That's what I thought.
currently, yes.
Already.
We've done other ones in the past, but all but 4 are in Atlantic, yes. I met with 2 different individuals regarding possible locations, business plan assistance, and funding options. That's really all I can say at this point about that, just because it's new. And So I attended Ambassadors and Rotary weekly, the Board of Supervisors bi-weekly. I attended Trails meeting and Tourism's meetings monthly. We're currently looking for someone to take over tourism because Kenner Baxter has stepped down for the county, so we are looking at options to do that. I'm also on the committee that is utilizing the Travel Iowa website to promote Atlantic, getting businesses on the website through the state. I'm on the Splash Pad fundraising committee. I attended, this was way back when, but you wanted quarterly, so here it is. I attended the Rural Iowa Development Summit. I attend the Economic Advantage 365 webinars on a bi-weekly basis. I met with Stacy with the Iowa Association of Business and Industry to discuss the struggles and strengths we have here in Atlantic. I met with Adam Lathrop with Cirrus through the Iowa State Extension Office to discuss struggles with workforce and provided contacts for all the large employers in the county. With that, that same week, we also compiled a list of top 35 employers in Cass County, but the majority obviously are Atlantic. I'm working with Iowa Works to complete our labor shed survey for Atlantic. We contacted many businesses to explain the importance because a lot of individuals think it may be a scam or they don't want to give out information, but it's pretty basic information, but it's important for employers to have. I'm working with an organization that specializes in business labs and shared workspaces. We've applied for a $5,000 grant to get that project at least headed in the right direction. That grant's through the state. CADCO as a board doesn't know exactly what they want to do yet. They want more data, and so that $5,000 will cover that. So that's not coming out of CADCO's general fund. And Barb, if you would not mind that website.
What do you use? Use Edge? Okay. Okay, what's the site, Jen?
AtlanticIowaHousing.com. Mind you, the website was $300, so, you know, we're on a budget.
Yeah, a tight one.
Okay, now, why is it not up there?
I guess you have to close the PowerPoint.
While we're waiting, can I ask,
Of course.
the person that you said you met with that, about the struggles that we have with workforce and whatnot? Sure. Did they have any golden gems
There it
as
is.
to
There it is.
what we could do, or it seems like a lot of things we go to, it's just, it's like, oh yeah, everybody's dealing with that kind of thing, I mean.
So to answer your question to the best I can, Cirrus actually has a program of 5 pillars that they use. And that can be things like lean manufacturing, employment or employee retention and recruitment. They have 5 different things that they work in. Now, what they found here in Atlantic was that a lot of the business owners have their way of doing things and aren't necessarily looking for assistance. So that's kind of where I came in to try and bridge the gap between the employer and this particular group, because they can do really good things. I've seen them. They've worked with Molly. They've worked with when it was Elkhart. They've worked with Ziegler. They're at Vermeer currently. So they do have a great program and a great model that, if the business is willing, they're willing to do it. So,
Perfect.
does that answer?
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, so this is the homepage. And you can just scroll down. It's got some of our highlights in our community, and those are all linked to their individual pages. Reasons to call Atlantic your home. You can all read that later. That'll be fine. And then we put our Atlantic video on the homepage. Excuse me. Cotton in here is killing me. So if you go under new development, so this is where Marty Boose's lots are, and then I put the Comus property, and it says coming soon. but at least you can see a little bit of what's what's coming. So the infill lots, those are currently all lots that we compiled as the Atlantic Housing Committee as to lots available, and we keep that up to date. Like the other day, one was given to the school for their building, and so we just immediately took that off. So, so we currently don't have as many as we did, but that's a good problem. So the local contractors, that is just a list that we compiled also as the Atlantic Housing Committee. So that's not all, but those are the ones that we've reached out to, and they have agreed to be on the list. Some of the individuals we reached out to did not respond. So there's contractors, electrical, plumbing, painting, roofing, just kind of an idea of a place to start if you did want to reach out, if you're looking to build. And the realtors, we listed the 3 realtors here in town. And so those are listed there. And then just a contact page, which I have had a few people reach out so far, so that's exciting, especially because the website's linked to absolutely nothing. So,
Hey, it worked.
yeah. So that's, anybody else have questions for me? There's no water. I know. Cotton in the air is,
Thank you.
I just want to say one thing as far as, of course, I'm really involved in CADCO, but my neighbor next door, he's got a business here and he's got a business in Carroll. And I said, how's it going? So I can't hire anybody. He said and he didn't say whether it's a mechanic or if it's a salesman or what. He said, I got 2 open positions here in Atlantic. I'm going to pay $27.50 an hour plus benefits. I only had 1 application and he couldn't fill out the form. I said, well, obviously it's better in Carroll. He said, no, it's worse. So he said there's more competition up there. So it's hard. Yeah, it's hard for business to get going because of the workforce. Yeah, so that's all I got.
Any other questions right now? We'll also come back around.
Yeah.
Number 7, presentation on commercial development progress by Bailey Smith, Executive Director of the Atlantic Area Chamber of Commerce. Bailey.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so this year we've had 11 new members join the chamber, 9 of them in the last quarter, which brings our total membership count to just under 270. And they span 12 different communities, with the majority of them here in Atlantic. But I do want to note that all of our members, while they're not all located in Atlantic, they are doing business in Atlantic, and we allow anybody doing business in Atlantic to join the chamber. So wanted to mention that. Jen mentioned the housing and childcare. The chamber's working on both of those with Vision Atlantic and the Y. And I know Jen's received a lot of phone calls, as have I, about the concern of childcare. I think it's important to note that there is a very good group of people working on that right now who know and understand how childcare operates. And they do it very well. And we have some ideas in place to address the childcare shortage that we'll hopefully be able to share down the road soon. But that is being worked on. I am still meeting monthly with Retail Coach. We meet once a month to discuss their recruitment efforts for Atlantic. I have had a couple council members ask about Retail Coach meetings. It's a city contract, so I would assume if a city council member wants on a meeting, they can, but it's not the chamber's contract, so I cannot send out those meeting links. So if you're interested in learning more about that, I would talk to John, maybe, about getting on those meetings. I sit on the Splash Pad fundraising committee. The goal's to raise $600,000. We're about a third of the way there. Checks can be made out to the City of Atlantic or Shift ATL and be dropped off at my office or City Hall. You can also donate online at AtlanticIowaSplashPad.com or through Shift's Venmo, with a goal to operate by summer of 2024. We have 2 upper story housing projects still going on downtown. One at 300 Chestnut, which is still in progress. But once it's complete, they'll have 4 total apartments, 2 2-bed and 2 1-bed apartments for rent. And then there's still a grant in process at 207 Chestnut, which used to be the old Coke Museum. And when that's complete, it'll have two-bed apartments in the back, and the front third will be storefront available for rent. It's a little smaller space, but it would work great for a bakery. If anybody wants to open a bakery, it would be a great spot. The owner lives in Hawaii, but I do have the key. If you would like to go look, call me. So those projects are still going on, and then we just completed a facade project downtown at the Lloyd and Meredith old bike store property. He wrapped that up, I think the end of last month. He got that complete. It looks great. New windows, tuck pointing, some fresh paint. He's very happy with it. It looks great. Produce in the Park started 4 weeks ago. It's every Thursday, 4:30 to 6:30 at City Park, now through October. We have about 28 vendors each week, a mix of produce, jewelry, baked goods, crafts. The Y comes twice a month with their bounce houses. Your Forte's been coming, doing art projects with kids each week in the park. Our ambassador program, like Jen said, has been going on every Thursday. We've done 19 visits, 8 of those ribbon cuttings. And we have another ribbon cutting tomorrow in Wyoda for the steakhouse and their new playground at the park. 2 new businesses have opened downtown since March, Homebody and Relic, with Relic opening just 2 weeks ago. It's described as a high-end antique business. I don't know if anybody's been in there yet, but it's very cool. He's got a lot of cool stuff with a clothing boutique in the back called Midwest Mabel. And it's at the corner of 4th and Chestnut, and Homebody's on the 500 block. Tractor Supply will officially be taking over Orchlands later this year. I was actually just on the phone with him this morning. They're not ready to share their opening date, but when they do, we'll do their ribbon cutting for them, hopefully early fall. And Pizza Ranch. I did want to mention Pizza Ranch. My phone's been ringing off the hook. You guys, it's not closing. Okay. I love the passion behind Pizza Ranch, but it's not closing. It's remodeling, new owner. They cleaned house, and they're in the process of hiring all new staff. So once they have filled that, they will reopen. So tell all your friends.
Well,
They are not
like
closing.
The other ones they own, it'll be very good.
It'll be very good.
Very good.
Yes.
They do a great job.
It'll be very well done.
Yes.
Jen mentioned our tourism need for a new Cass County Tourism liaison, I would say. So if you know anybody interested, they can call the Cass County supervisors. It doesn't pay,
Oh.
but it's a great time.
Okay. But it doesn't
We-
pay.
But it doesn't pay.
I'm not interested.
So that's tough. Talk to the supervisors about that. We're in full event planning season. We had our Easter egg hunt in April. We had our 9-in-1 golf tournament this past Friday. The Rotary Flight Breakfast will be July 4th from 7 to 11 out at the airport with the Pancake Man. And then we'll have discount days the 3rd Saturday of July. 2nd Saturday of July, the 16th of July, and then Summer Soiree will also be that day right here on 4th Street to benefit Shift ATL. And then I also sit on the State Chamber Board to represent Southwest Iowa, so I have those meetings 3 times a month as a board, and then also on subcommittees, and it's a group who are addressing industry needs throughout the state and how the state can better serve Southwest Iowa is my job. So that's what I work on outside of my local chamber duties. And then I've also been asked by the state. The state extension office is restructuring their strategic plan to figure out how to better serve the 99 counties in Iowa and if their current grant programs are working or being underutilized. And they came to town, I think in April or May, and had a meeting with county representatives. And they've asked me to be the liaison for Atlantic to help them discuss funding and grant opportunities that are lacking in Atlantic. So I'm also working on that. And then ISU, the college has also asked the chamber to help facilitate a study of farmers markets. They've picked 10 farmers markets across the state, and Produce in the Park is one of them, to study if the size of a community determines the price of goods, and if the state needs to have more of a blanket price of product, or if it needs to mirror more of the region that they are living in. So they picked Produce in the Park to represent this population size, so I'll be working with ISU all summer to do that. And that's my update.
When do you sleep?
Sometimes.
Okay.
And I
Every now and then.
and I do have a question.
Yeah.
It just came to me yesterday or the day before that the 4 buildings that are north of Hy-Vee are sitting vacant. And
Noddle.
Or 3, are there 3 or whatever? They are sitting vacant, right?
North of Ivy. Like
The Noddle.
between the liquor store?
Yeah. And I think they have been for forever, and I have heard absolutely nothing about them ever that would be someplace a business could go. And I mean, I would think, you've got parking, you've got traffic, you've got yada, yada. Are they not trying to bring a business into that?
Noddle?
Oh, yeah. Obviously,
I wouldn't
I'm
say
dark.
Yeah, you are the dark on this one.
I wouldn't say that they're not trying, but they're not trying. It is hard for a small business to go in that location due to the very steep rent
Yeah.
that they have. So we are working to find somebody larger that could go in there who can pay that rent.
Okay,
And when we speak with Noddle, they're not going to change their rent.
All I know is.
And they have no interest in selling. I mean, it's
No.
just,
All I know,
I
that was
just thought,
SWIPCO's adding on to their building, and they had to get temporary for some of their employees, and
yeah.
and it was a perfect place for them and everything, and they said they're just like, we don't care, yeah. Shouldn't say that, but they just.
Do you want to
Take
touch
it.
on that, Grace, a little bit? We are working with the retail.
We are.
And that's an available space.
Yeah.
And they're aware of it, it just hasn't really piqued anybody's interest yet.
No.
Now, those 3 buildings can be combined as one.
Yeah.
Walls can be removed at no problem, I mean,
Sure.
some cost, but.
Yeah.
Sure.
It could be a much larger space if that would be more appealing. We just haven't found that person.
okay.
yet.
I just happened to, when I was just down there, and it's like, nobody in 2 years has even mentioned this down
I
here.
wouldn't, it's not that it's not being mentioned. It's just once it's mentioned, the price tag,
Yeah.
they don't come back to it. Jen and I give that info out all the time when someone's looking for space. It's just,
And I thought maybe, they're holding out and hoping that Hy-Vee will want that space. But anyway, that sort of answers my question.
That would be a
Thank you.
great idea.
That was talked about years ago.
That would be a great idea. Yes. Well, I'm glad you talked about Pizza Ranch.
Yes.
I actually did a walkthrough today with them, and it's coming along very nicely. And they said that they have had good response in interviewing, and there were people there while I was there, about 3 applicants, I think, and they were interviewing during that time. So it is going to be very nice when it is done, and it will be a nice additive back into the city. So we're glad that they're reinvesting in the town.
Really?
So
Good.
it's going to be
Great.
very nice. So council, do you have any other questions for CADCO or Chamber at this time?
I know.
No, other than just saying that we really appreciate their updates.
I do have a question. If anyone else has a question, feel free. I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot, and I apologize ahead of time if you need time to think about it. But I would imagine you probably have thought about the additional funding that you're going to receive from the city. What can we as a city anticipate out of those additional funds? And what do you think you foresee in using them? And how would you like to expand the city with those additional funds?
you want to go first?
Jen's got
Would have liked time to think about it.
And you know what? I think it's a very good question.
It's a great question.
It's a very
Yeah.
good question.
Legitimate question.
And,
I can answer a portion of mine.
okay,
I guess, with the cost of everything going up. Operational. I mean, I have a part-time assistant that does not make enough money. So that
Right.
that was my number one priority, and that's why I fought so hard for it.
I remember
She
hearing that.
deserves more money than she makes. That's obviously a top priority for me. We just want to keep the lights on as well, and we are going to save money back because I would like nothing more than to start a business plan competition. I've wanted to do it for 10 years, and we just haven't had the funds to do it. So I'm hoping to hold 25 back this year, 25 back next year. I think $5,000 would entice a few people to come out of the woodwork. And we do use any additional money that we have. We have used CADCO money to loan out to businesses if we haven't had funds in our revolving loan fund. So that, any additional that we have throughout the year goes into our savings. That's my best response on a quick notice. That's kind of my goal.
and I know, I serve on the SWIPCO, CADCO.
There you go.
SWIPCO too.
You both do. Both of them.
CADCO
confusing.
board, and I had heard that from you, Jen, and I'm glad that you were able to make that public.
Yeah.
So thank you. That's good to hear. And Bailey, if you want time to think about it, you should.
I mean, well, it'll go towards operational, but it'll also probably go into events. We do 25 events, but people don't think that's enough events. So we'll probably put some into event management to add things to the events. But right now, that's all I'll say
Okay,
about it.
okay.
Yeah.
Something to think about, because I know everybody's probably, I will not say everyone, but there have been, I wanted to present that question to you
Yeah.
respectfully, and if I should have sent it to you beforehand, I apologize, but feel free to think about it. Okay,
Legitimate question.
okay. Thank you, ladies, very much. We appreciate that. Item number 8, second reading of ordinance number 1033, discontinuing the Cable Television Commission and deleting Chapter 27, Cable Television Commission.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Ladies.
Motion and a second? I'm sorry,
Motion.
motion by Hartkoff,
Second.
second by Barron's. Discussion? Roll call vote, please, Barb.
Hardkoff.
Aye.
Holder.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Addie.
Aye.
Barron's.
Aye.
Cisco.
Aye.
McCurdy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 9, second reading of ordinance number 1034, discontinuing the Community Promotion Commission and deleting Chapter 29, Community Promotion Commission. Motion and a second.
I move we pass second reading of ordinance number 1034.
Second.
Discussion, council? Roll call vote, please, Barb.
McCurdy.
Aye.
Hardkoff.
Aye.
Halder.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Addie.
Aye.
Barron's.
Aye.
Cisco.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 10, resolution number 30-23, a resolution approving and adopting a revenue purpose statement for the use or expenditure of revenues from a natural gas service franchisee.
I move we approve resolution 30-23.
I'll second.
Discussion, council?
John, would you explain that just a little bit? I know it's.
Okay, so this is just part of implementing the natural gas franchise fee with Alliant. Iowa Code outlines specific number of uses. I trimmed that down, we can authorize all of them, some of them, one of them. I trimmed it down to about half of what I think the council would actually want to spend that money on.
Sure.
And so this is the first step. This has to be passed before we hold the public hearing and vote on the actual ordinance that implements the natural gas franchise fee. But that's just our end of the work.
Okay.
The Alliant has a lot of work to do with the Iowa Utility Board. They have to mail out letters to customers. They have to do some sort of pilot test to make sure it works properly.
Oh.
But this is the first step.
Good. Thank you.
Other
How long
questions?
before you see this all coming
About 6 months, so my guess is like, unless the council has a problem with it, like after we have the public hearing and talking with Alliant, I might recommend that the second and third readings be done at the next council meeting in July after the public hearing.
Sure.
Any other questions, council? Discussion? Roll call vote, please, Barb.
Brink.
Aye.
Addie.
Aye.
Behrens.
Aye.
Cisco.
Aye.
McCurdy.
Aye.
Hardikoff.
Aye.
Holder.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 11, resolution number 31-23, setting the date of public hearing for the first reading of ordinance number 1035, its successors and assigns a non-exclusive 25-year franchise to erect, construct, reconstruct, maintain, and operate plant and systems for the distribution of natural gas in the city of Atlantic, Iowa, and sell, distribute, and supply natural gas into said city and its inhabitants, and requiring said company to pay a franchise fee to the city. Do I have a motion and a second?
I move we pass resolution number 31-23.
Second.
Discussion, council? Questions? Roll call vote, please, Barb.
McCurdy.
Aye.
Hardikoff.
Aye.
Halder.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Addie.
Aye.
Behrens.
Aye.
Cisco.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 12, administrative report. Thank you, John.
Working on job descriptions. I have 44 out of 47 ready. We have a few more to correct. Then we need to talk to the department heads, have employees review them. But that's been something that's been on the to-do list for a while, and things have actually finally gotten a little quiet. So I've made some good progress. And then part 2 of the personnel policy that the mayor and I worked on last summer, I think we'll be ready to get going on that. I reached out to SWPCO about the comprehensive plan. Mr. McCurdy told me $12,500, which was, I thought, a pretty good price for such an important document. P&Z met last week, and I will have the ordinance making first-story housing along Chestnut Street a conditional, no longer permitted use. And so we'll have that ready for the July 5th meeting. And then this is the last meeting of the fiscal year, so I plan on diving into the budget early next year.
Every edge.
Yep. And yeah, that's about it.
That's good.
How old is our existing comprehensive plan?
I think it's about 5 years old.
It's about 4 years and 6 months.
Yep.
I'm
That's
afraid.
fine.
It expires this year.
It's obvious every 5 years.
Actually, 7 months.
Questions, council?
So I was at the planning and zoning, so is this just Main Street we're talking, or are we talking so far off Main Street?
Just Chestnut was their recommendation.
Okay, that's what I gathered.
Yeah.
I think that's good. It should be storefronts
Yep.
facing the street. That's all I got.
Has there been any talk about, I've noticed on Main Street here, there's several bricks missing that are really trip hazards
Okay.
Ooh,
on the sidewalks.
No one's mentioned anything to me, but I can talk with Kirk.
that's not good.
Yeah.
Just trying to remember which corner it was that I seen that on. I can't remember now, but. And I know there's a lot of unevenness to them, so.
Yeah, there is. It's not good.
I went looking because somebody had come to me about it, so.
That day? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk to Kirk and get that fixed.
I do know they get really slick in the wintertime. I know that.
Any other questions, council? For John? Thank you, John. Appreciate that. Item 13, the mayor's report. Again, everyone knows it is grass and weed season, right? We are asking you as property owners and those who live in our city to maintain your property for grass and weeds and junk and vehicles according to the city code. And junk and trash needs to be removed from your properties. I will encourage you, if you do not have trash pickup, to make sure that you contact them. Again, according to city code. And if you are a landlord or if you own property, please make sure that there are bins available. And even if you need to have your trash picked up more than once, please do that. And I will say this, if the city cleans the property, just be aware that new fees went into place last year. And the new fees will be assessed if the city has to clean up your property. The city recently cleaned up a property, and the fee was over $1,000. So I would say it would behoove you to try to maintain your property on your own, because we will be assessing those fees to the properties. We will give you, according to the law, we will give you notices. Please try your very best, and if you need help, please let us know, but try your very best to be in compliance with the city code. The city will move forward in cleaning up your property if that's what's required. And I will say this, myself, and I think I can speak for the council, and I know our city staff are very determined to clean up our city on multiple levels. If you are a resident of Atlantic, please do your part, and it will make our town a much better place. And we want it to be a great place, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. I want to also thank those who are reinvesting in Atlantic and those that are investing in Atlantic. I want to say thank you, and I truly mean that. We've had businesses tear down their buildings and rebuild. We've had restaurants that are remodeling, and we have those people that are investing in our town, and I want to say thank you. It's worth it, and I want to say thank you to that. And with that, I will end on that note. So, City Council, let's start with Councilman Brink. Do you have any reports?
I don't have a lot, but had a obviously I did.
Oh, I said Brink. I said we'll start with Brink.
Oh, I thought you said
Start with you, because the only thing I had was Cadco, and Jen answered all that.
I'm sorry. I was just going to go ahead and let you.
You started talking. It's all good. It's all good.
Councilwoman Adi.
Yeah, there you go.
Take that out of the minutes.
Yeah, be careful with that.
That was it.
Councilman Brink, please go ahead.
Thank you, I'm done.
She yells the table.
I yield to whoever's next.
It's all fun.
Councilman Halder.
Are you sure?
Oh, baby.
This might
How's
take
that
a, this
spelled?
might take a while.
Oh, dear. Should have had him last.
Last night, I actually had 2 for 1 last night.
Oh, good.
One I got paid for and one I didn't.
Uh-oh.
So I had the library, and the only thing they really had, it was a short meeting. They've kept their officers the same, and they made a decision on the elevator to go with the Schumacher, which was 92,000 and change, versus the other 2 bids were 114 and 118 and change. So they'll be getting busy on that. And then the other one I had was actually the library had a one of their functions in the meeting room that had to do with the island people. And Miley, I believe was her name, was there with another gal. And just basically was, and Jim was there too, and his wife, and there was quite a few people there actually, but just kind of a history on where they came from and their culture, and kind of hopefully how we can you know,
Right.
and get along and make things work. So it was interesting. But that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilwoman
I have-
Hardikoff.
Okay, I had the airport meeting the other day, last week or whenever it was. And very short meeting, they approved a contract for some runway lighting updates, things that just kind of needed to be updated on that. And then they had an approval for an FAA grant agreement, which I don't understand, and Dave understands that, he can share that.
Yeah, the lighting project received
That was
their.
the same thing,
Yeah, for the lighting
Okay.
project.
tied together, okay.
90% grant from the FAA.
Good,
All right, cool.
good.
So stuff that needed to be done that we're taking care of.
Wonderful.
I went to several meetings, but none count, so.
Okay.
I can't charge you. That's all I got.
Councilman Cisco.
I had AMU on the 19th. They did the necessary business for setting public hearings, reviewing contracts for the transformer and switchgear on Glacier Road project substation. That's about a $1.3 to $1.5 million project, so they're getting that rolling. They are buying energy now for the expected, not outage, but shortage they're gonna have in the fall when they go down, when the plant goes down for 8 weeks of maintenance. They did an approval of the employee health insurance, and it went down 12.6%.
Wow.
And that was mainly due to the claims were down $200,000.
Ooh,
last
that
year.
really
So,
helps.
yes,
doesn't it?
that's good.
That speaks well for them.
WS number 3 didn't run the first half of May, but it started up on the 15th and has run since then. The energy market's kind of soft, but at least it's fairly stable. Something that I didn't know about, it kind of surprised me, AMU has a local natural gas generating plant. And it was running on diesel, and they had a fire which was suppressed, and now they're making considerations to running on natural gas. And the question came up, was it really, I guess, worth the expenditure to reverse it? And they found out that last year, that this year, so far they've sold $372,000 of natural gas back to MRES, which is, it makes money. After DNR review, the well fields show an excessive amount of crown vetch, which smothers out the native prairie vegetation. That can be controlled by spraying and burning, and additionally, because of the ash trees that are coming, they're probably going to take down about 1,000 or more trees out there. But anyway, the electric department, let's see, they're continuing mowing. The Indian Creek Bridge project continues. 17th and Lincoln is near completion. After they get done with that up there, then they're going to move over to 22nd Roosevelt. There are 16 outages, and they're attributed to squirrels, raccoons, lightning, and wind.
Squirrels.
Water department, they had one leak. The 7th and Elm Street valve and plumbing is covered and finished, they hope, knock on wood. And the EPA is continuing testing for chemicals in our water, but so far we're
Good, that's the main
Yay,
thing.
very
That's the
good.
main thing.
Very good.
You're up.
Councilman Barron.
Whoa.
Well, I didn't have any official meetings this time.
Okay.
Out of the meeting last night at the library, there was a lot of interesting stuff in that. And it really seems like there is a lapse in the education between the two cultures.
Sure.
And I would kind of like to challenge our local medias and newspapers to write stories and to research these treaties and stuff and educate more people on the treaties and their cultures and stuff for the community.
That's a good point.
So,
Thank you. Councilwoman Adi.
You're
As
up.
I previously said, I didn't have a lot. I did have a chamber meeting. A couple of things with the chamber. One of the things that I do with them is I do attend the ambassadors group, and it is a really good thing, and it is well attended, and it does make you aware of what's going on, and so, I appreciate your comments of the people who are investing and reinvesting in the community, and the two ladies that spoke to us, that, that work that's going on behind the scenes. A couple of things just to mention that didn't get mentioned. There is a garden tour this Sunday.
Oh, yes.
So if anybody is looking for something to do on Sunday, you can buy your tickets at the extension office, or you can buy them at any of the farms. But you gotta know somebody to get started. I think it'll be a great event. I helped with a couple of golfing events, and again, I would encourage people to get out and volunteer. One was for the chamber and one was for the Y, and you get to talk to a lot of people when you go out and help with those events. And again, it's fun to see the community. And my last thing was, had the opportunity to walk Bull Creek, the part that we have completed. And if you haven't walked that, it's lovely.
It is
Yes.
lovely.
Absolutely lovely, and it's very serene if you go at the right time of the day. The concern that I have, and I talked with Dave just a little bit about it, you can tell what we planted or what they planted, and some of the native stuff, it looks great. There's also a lot of weeds there that I fear that if we don't take care of them, they're going to overtake what's there. I certainly don't know what. I just could recognize that there were weeds coming. And Dave did say that they have somebody in Ankeny that could come down and take a look at that and maybe talk to us about how we manage that. There would be a cost to having that person come down, but if you get the opportunity, walk along there, see what you all think, see if you think it would be worth it. But it's lovely right now, and I would hate to see it revert back and
is.
be nothing but a bunch of weeds along there. It's a great addition for our community. And of course, then we talked a little bit about possibly moving ahead and taking care of the rest of it, but that'll be for another time. But I think
get
we've
there.
got to get serious about finishing that up, because what that adds, the other will
Hopefully it'll come.
be as much too. So that's all I have.
Okay, Dave, do you have anything for us?
Yeah, just to add on to what Elaine mentioned about the Bull Creek, we did meet with a representative, because this section from 5th to 8th is really narrow. We can't just regrade this section, lay the slopes back with the alley being there. So we met with a company that makes these structural components. They're like block walls, but you can also put plantings within the wall then.
Oh.
It actually is really nice looking, so we did get cost estimates for that section, that 3-block section, that I'll probably get with John sometime, or maybe you want to take it to a committee, John, and to talk about, if you guys are serious about moving forward with the project someday. That's probably the best option as far as getting something that keeps the channel wide open and looks nice.
Yes.
It looks
yes.
Not just slopping a bunch of rock and concrete on the edges
Yeah.
like it is now.
Space
Clean it
there.
up and make it actually look nice with planted sidewalls.
Yeah,
Sounds interesting.
sounds great. Yeah. Well, we'll look forward to hearing from you.
Yep.
There you go.
I'll get that to John.
Yes. Any other comments, council? Anything outside of meeting?